Hi friends, Julian here. Hopefully this is a quick one today, and I really mean it. I'm actually waiting for my nice bronze to arrive. It's been nearly 10 days and I think it's arriving today. So I've got time to do one little job for someone, casting wise, before the nice bronze arrives for the kettlebell. My YouTube mate SciManDan has asked me to make a prize or trophy for a charity fundraising quiz he's organising. And this is what I came up with. Seamless. In case you don't know who SciManDan is, he's brilliant. He's a scientist who debunks so-called science on YouTube, and he's very funny too. I made him a bronze play button a while ago, and I urge you to check out his channel. It's really entertaining and educational. I was thinking, what can I cast for him? I was thinking a trophy or something, and then I thought, well, he's a science channel trying to get everyone learning science. And I thought, well, when I think of science and hark back to that era of space exploration, I think of the Voyager and the Pioneer satellites. I've made a mock-up. So obviously these are nothing like the resolution of the real thing because it's 3D printed. And also I had to make the lines much fatter in order for them to be sort of leave impressions in the sand. It's the back of the record that was sent on the
Voyager spacecraft.
There was an inscription on the back to tell the aliens, if they found it, how to decipher the information on the other side, which I have not cast because that was like a record. So you've got the position of the Earth, you've got a little diagram from above showing a record being played with a head, and then you have the same diagram from a side view. Then you've got wavelengths of, I don't know what that is, it must be sound. Anyway, because of the resolution is lost, it doesn't look quite as good as the real thing. It had to be a compromise because I haven't gotten into engraving yet. That's another topic. So I 3D printed these. This is a slightly smaller one, and I don't know which one I'm going to cast yet, assuming it casts well. Mounted on a nice piece of oak or a piece of wood, and make a little stand for it perhaps. Hope you like it, Dan. Yeah, let's get casting. Okay, let's whiz through this boring stuff. I sanded and filled the disc pattern to try and remove the worst of the layer lines. I light the furnace up. Here's a nice shot of the bronze I'm using. It's a silicon bronze. While that's melting, I prepare the sand moulds. This is the pattern after it's been sanded and filled. I make up the drag. Then I make up the cope. I'm using a tapered sprue and a large feeder. And here I'm cutting the runners and gates. Okay, when I remove the pattern, there's quite a lot of sand still stuck to it, and this is a sign that it's not left a very good impression in the sand. Unfortunately, this was always a risk with this job because I haven't found an easy way to make a complex shape drafted on Fusion 360 yet. If anyone knows how to do this with a shape like this, please let me know. I would be eternally grateful. I can see some details in the sand, so I decide to go ahead and see what happens. Okay, half an hour later, it's time to see what it looks like. Now, this is difficult to tell whether it's worked or not. It's going to need a bit more tidying up before I can tell. Apologies for the noise. In the meanwhile, my nice bronze has turned up and I'm warming the furnace again to make a kettlebell. So I do a little bit of sanding and it's still too hard to tell if the lines will be visible or not. So I'll give it a quick test polish. It looks pretty good. I love polishing, so I get carried away and keep going. At the 7-8 o'clock mark there, you can see the in-gate, so that needs to be sanded off and then repolished. Finally, I'd like to finish off SciManDan's charity quiz award. I've got to finish off the edge. I only did sort of half an hour on it yesterday. And I need to polish that up. I've found a nice piece of oak that I'm going to mount it on. So I cut the oak to size. One bit for the medal and one bit for the stand. I cut a groove in the stand piece on the table saw and glue it up. After 24 hours this will be rock solid. Now for the final polish, concentrating on the edge. I do give the front another quick once over as well. Obviously the resolution is not ideal, but as a medal it's really nice. Lol, the medal just fell off. Okay, so this led to a whole catalogue of errors. Essentially the medal was a little bit grimy on the back and it didn't have enough roughness to grab the hot glue. So I went back into the workshop and scored it heavily with an angle grinder. Aggressively angle grinding it like this had the unfortunate side effect of warming it up quite a lot, so that the lacquer layer that I'd put on the front, that started to get soft and it eventually started to peel. So using some acetone I cleaned all that off, I heavily scored the back, and we'll try again. So this time the medal will not have a lacquer layer, so it will tarnish, but a little bit of Brasso will clean that up nicely. All done.